Hello everyone, in this video we are going to talk about objects and method. Under our topic objects and method, we are going to discuss constructors, static variables, and static methods, and we're also going to discuss overloading. Now first let us talk about what is a constructor. So constructor is a special method. Please take note that it is still a method, just like user-defined function, void, and value returning functions are method. Now, constructor is a special method. It is special in a way that it is used to create initialize an object and use the constructor using new keyword. It is special that it has the same name, must have the same name with the class to which it belongs to. Therefore, if your method, the name of your method is not the same with your class, then it is not a constructor. So the only time that it is considered a constructor if it has the same name with your class and it does not have any return type. It does not use void keyword or it does not use any data type and it does not use the return keyword. Now let's take a look at an example over here. So we have here a public class which is pet, named pet, and we have created an instance variable over here. And so we also created or initialize a constructor. So in fact, we have three constructors. Okay, so we have the first constructor, public pet. We have the second is public pet as well, and the third one is public pet. Now, remember, when we talk about constructor, it is a method. Kaya meron tayong open and close parentheses. Now, usually, constructor have the first one or the default constructor, which doesn't have any parameters. So anything that is inside this open and close parentheses is called a parameter. We have used another constructor, public pet, that contains one parameter, which is this is our second constructor. Okay, now we have the third constructor that contains two parameters. The first parameter is string name and the second parameter is int age. Now this is what we call constructor overload. Now when we talk about overloading, which we will discuss in the last part, overloading happens when multiple methods have the same name within the same class. So it is a method that has the same name. Okay, we declared 1, 2, 3. Okay, constructors. This is already what we call overloading, and that's all about constructors. Our next topic, which is we have here UML class diagram. It is a unified modeling language that represents by this diagram symbol. The first layer of the UML diagram is the name of the class. So therefore, this class here is called pet. The second row contains all the variables. Okay, so first variable we have here is a pet name. This is the variable name and our data type string. The second variable is pet age, which has the data type double, and pet weight with a double data type. Now, if you have observed, meron tayong dash symbol or negative sign, presents a private modifier. Therefore, that pet name, string pet name, is declared as private string pet name, private double pet age. Unless otherwise, it becomes a positive sign or plus sign, so that will be public double pet weight. Next, we have on the third row or the last part of the UML diagram, this contains all the method of the class. So if you have observed over here, everything is set into a public modifier. So all of these methods are in public access modifier. Now we have public void set pet, which contains the following parameters: new name, new age, and double new weight. Public void set name is your method name, and we have the parameter string new name. The same with set age. So public void set age, which is your method name, and we have here our parameter. Parameter consists of data type and your variable. We have observed we have use set. That means this method is a mutator, and we have here a get for the accessor. We have public string get name method. Example, we have here public class pet. So the name of the class is pet, which is this one, And we have here private static string p name. So p stands for pet, so pet name. And we have private static int pet age, and we have private string sample. So this is our variable. And next we have all the methods. Added the set pet name and the age. We have here a public void set pet, okay, like this one, a public void set pet. But I did not provide any parameters for this one. Next, we have set name. Okay, for the set name, we have public void set name. We have a parameter name, just like this one, string new name. We have a content, this that p name, which is this one is our instance variable. So if you can remember on the last video, we used instance variable p name. Okay, so we have here p name and we call it over here. That means the value of the instance variable will become kung ano yung value ng ating parameters. So we have name here and we have the age. Okay. We also set the following get name and get age, which I have used over here. So meron tayong set age. So public static void set name and set age, and we also have get name and the get age. Now going back, how we create a class using the UML class diagram as our guide. Okay, so we have here constructor. First sample, we have the default constructor, like what I said earlier, meron a default constructor that does not contain anything. I just provided this one, added the system.out.print line for us to display its content without using system.out.print line doon sa ating main method. We have another constructor. We have pet string initial name, so you can provide a value for pet name only. Okay, so initial name is the value from our constructor, while age and weight is set to 0. And we have the third example, initial age. So for the age, this only sets the value for the age only. So when you call this constructor, the value for this parameter will be put inside this pet age na variable. So that means it does not change the name, it does not change the pet weight. The same thing with the fourth constructor example. This one only initialize pet weight, and the rest will not change anything. Public pet. This constructor will initialize, okay, all the values of this variable. So we have pet name, age, and weight. So pwede nyo siyang iset using one constructor lang kasi meron tayong tatlong parameters for the name, for the age, and for the weight. And we also have here constructor. We have initial name, age, and weight. If you have observed, instead of using this one, okay, instead of calling pet name variable, instead of calling pet age variable and calling pet weight, you can use a method. So we have here a method set pet to initialize a value for the name, the age, and the weight. So paano nangyari yon? So let's take a look at the set pet method. So set pet, okay, so this is set pet. So supposedly this is not just set. So this is set pet method. Okay, so set pet method is called, this one is called on the constructor pet. That means for us to provide the initial name and the age and the weight. Okay, doon mismo sa pet name, age, and weight instead of using it directly dito, nakagaya nito. So that means dalawang method na siya. Okay, that is, this method is inside this method. For our example, we have here a constructor that uses a set name na method. So instead of using this one, pet name is equal to no name, or instead of using p name is equal to name, just use the set name method. Kapag ginawa niyong method, ang tawag dun sa content ng open and close parenthesis is parameter. Kapag ginamit or tinawag nyo na yung method, ang tawag doon is argument. Third constructor that you can see na pwedeng gamitin ninyo or tawagin ninyong instance variable natin that would equal to our local variable. And I used the set age method to initialize yung value ng age. Let us call constructors. How do we use or invoke or call constructors? Tawagin muna natin itong pet. the default constructor. So punta tayo sa main method. Let's create or instantiate an object. So to instantiate an object, we are going to call the class create an object. So let's say ang pet natin is a cat. Use the new keyword and call our constructor. Ang default constructor natin displays the following. So pname is ph. So ang value ng pname natin dito is no name. And yung value ng h is 0. Our output here is no name is 0. If I don't use this one, see, wala tayong output. If I don't use this one, sa ating constructor, that means our constructor doesn't have any system.out.println. How do we display an output? Punta tayo sa main method. Dun sa main method natin, meron tayong object. Name is cat. To display yung value ng ating constructor, system.out.println, we call cat dot pname. Our instance variable plus is plus, and let's call cat dot ph. So it has the same output. It's easier to use yung nasa constructor. Kung pname lang i-access natin, it does not display any age. So balik natin yung system.out.print dito. And then content na lang yung i-code natin sa main method. We call the second constructor. So to call the second constructor, we do the same. Pero ang pinagkaiba niya sa default, this time, when we call our constructor, since meron siyang parameter, kailangan na natin siyang lagyan ng argument. Punta tayo sa main method. Let's say pet, a dog. Okay, so yan yung object natin. New pet. Remember, our constructor contains a parameter. Kaya maglalagay tayo ng argument dito. Now, ano yung magiging argument natin dito? Parameter natin is a string. Okay? So therefore, ang ilalagay natin na argument is also a string. Ang name ng dog natin is Inuyasha. Ang ating output dito is system.out.println pname, which is ang value dapat niya is Inuyasha, and is ph, which is ang value ng age natin is set to 0. Output of our second parameter. We have Inuyasha is 0. Try natin i-update yung age. Let's say age 3. Output, meron tayong Inuyasha is 3. Hindi na siya 0. Kasi nag-set tayo ng value ng age that is equal sa 3. Pero yung age dito sa taas is 0 pa rin. Paano natin tawagin or invoke itong third constructor? I want you to remember na ang third constructor natin, meron tayong dalawang parameter. So we have a string separated by comma, and we have age. So let's go to main method. Let's name our pet as Neko. Name of Neko will be, let's say, Kuro Neko. And again, earlier, yung parameter natin is meron tayong string separated by comma, and we have integer 5. You have observed no name is 0, Inuyasha is 3, Kuro Neko is 5. Gamit tayo ulit ng another constructor. Let's say Shiro Neko. And Shiro Neko is 4. So meron tayong error. So error is in line 81. So check natin yung line 81. This one, line 81 ito. Meron daw tayong variable Neko, which is this one, okay, is already defined in main method. That means ito meron na daw existing. So that means hindi tayo pwedeng mag-create ng the same name. So let's say cat2. So cat2 is Shiro Neko, which is age 4. Shiro Neko is 4. So I hope you get the idea calling your constructors.